Hello learners, bonjour aux apprenants and welcome to Learn French with Likiza. Today we are going to be looking at the usage of these prepositions of place, do, sur, à, dont and pour. Pour generally translates to for in English, but it can also translate to other things, as we are going to see. And one important thing to note is that pour is normally followed by an infinitive, a noun, or a pronoun. Now, depending on the message that pour is intending to convey, its meaning in English changes. Let us now look at some sentence examples to further illustrate this. To express an opinion, you can say, pour moi, c'est mieux de rester ici. For me, it's better to stay here. And if you have done something for someone, you can say, j'ai porté le sac pour elle. I carried the bag for her. And if you want to say something will last for a certain amount of time, you can say something like, il est prévu pour un entretien d'une heure. He is scheduled for an hour-long interview. Sometimes, when you are expressing your preference, you can also use pour. For example, j'étais pour la robe verte, pas la rouge. I was for the green dress, not the red one. And also, pour can be used when talking about destination. For example, le train pour Marseille est en retard. The train to Marseille is late, and in this case, pour translates to in English. Do generally translates to of or from in English. And normally, when do is combined with definite articles, it behaves in the following ways. So do plus lo becomes do. Do plus la does not change, so it remains do la. Do plus le becomes de. And also, when the word that follows do starts with a vowel, do will contract and become d apostrophe. And you can refer back to my lesson on combining a and do with definite articles to see this. Now, do has a number of uses, as we are going to see in the following examples. Do can be used after some adjectives. For example, je suis ravie de vous rencontrer. I'm delighted to meet you. It can also be used after some verbs. For example, il rêve de devenir riche un jour. He dreams of becoming rich one day. Do can also be used when talking about the contents of something. For example, un paquet de lait, a packet of milk. And in relation to the contents of something, do can also be used to express quantity. For example, un kilo de viande, a kilo of meat. Additionally, do can be used in superlatives, and you can refer back to my lesson on superlatives to understand them better. For example, l'animal le plus dangereux de la nature, the most dangerous animal in the wild. Do can further be used to detail the material used to make something and what this thing is used for. For example, une cuillère de bois, a wooden spoon. Second example, un tapis de table, a table mat. So in the first example, you get to know what the spoon is made of, de bois, wooden. And in the second example, you get to know what the mat is for, de table, for the table. And finally, do can be placed between indefinite pronouns and adjectives to give more context. For example, c'est quelqu'un de caractère douteux. He is of questionable character. And if you are enjoying the lesson so far, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel before I continue. Sur generally translates to on in English. However, sur can have a variety of meanings depending on what accompanies it. Let us look at some examples to further understand this. We have the very basic meaning on. Le livre est sur la table. The book is on the table. Sometimes sur can indicate location, and in this case it can either mean at, all over, and other things that are in relation to location. For example, elle aime que la maison ait une vue sur la mer. She likes that the house has a view of the sea, and in this case sur is translating to off. Sur can also be used when talking about a topic or subject. For example, ils ont présenté une conférence sur les cheveux égyptiens anciens. They presented a talk on ancient Egyptian hair. And finally, sur can also be used in time approximation. And in this case, it translates to around. For example, on arrive sur 14 heures. Donc is a bit tricky in that it works pretty similarly to on, which I've previously tackled on this channel. But there's a difference. Donc generally translates to in, and to be more specific, inside of a place. Donc can also be used to indicate the length of time it takes for something to happen. And I'm going to give two examples to illustrate this. Elle vit dans un appartement. She lives in an apartment. Le gâteau sera prêt dans 20 minutes. The cake will be ready in 20 minutes. And finally, we have a avec l'accent grave. A with the grave accent. Now, when I was learning French, I was taught that a translates to, in, or at. And this has always proven very easy for me to understand. But there are other uses of a in addition to those three meanings. When you're talking about distances, a can translate to from. For example, ils habitent à 3 heures de la capitale. They live 3 hours from the capital. A can also translate to see you, and especially when you're bidding someone farewell. For example, à demain, see you tomorrow. À plus tard, see you later. À bientôt, see you soon, and the likes. You must also remember that a, like do, when combined with definite articles, changes its form. And a can also be used to talk about certain modes of transport. For example, si tu y vas à pied, tu seras en retard. If you go by foot, you'll be late. And in this case, a translates to by. Et voilà, that is the end of our lesson today. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You can also ring the notification bell so that you are always notified of new videos as soon as I upload them. You can check out my pinned comment for the ways in which you can support my work. A bientôt!